emotional, and this is the story of my first mustache. And I say that with 100% knowledge that this is not a good mustache. I'm not like delusional, like, oh, the people want to know how the legend started. Like, I'm aware this is very pedophilic and horrible. But it has been worse at one point. So back in grade 12, we went camping for gym. That was one of our modules. I don't know why we did it, but part of the thing was we had a team, and you had to, like, they wanted to make us really cohesive as a team. So first of all, you had to come up with like a team name. And everyone was being real PC about their team names. They were like, and then my team was like me, my friend Doug, my friend Matt, and then honestly, there's one other kid, and I spent the whole day, I don't remember who it is. He's probably dead. That's what happened. He probably died. So it was me, it was the four of us, and everyone's team name was like the Squirrels, and like the Gatherers and all that stuff. And we're like, that's ridiculous. Like, we named our team Wild Spunk. It's code for jizz. And how we thought we were so clever because it was like this is our inside joke. Like, the teachers won't get it, and we got busted. We honestly thought it went over their head. Like, they don't know what spunk. They'll think it's like some kind of dance move or something. They won't honestly know what it is. So we're like, we're gonna name ourselves the Wild Spunk. And then we got busted because every team had to make like a flag for their tent and their campsite. And again, the Squirrels made theirs out of like cardboard, and like the Gatherers or whatever had like, construction paper or whatever. And Wild Spunk, like, let's push the envelope. We got a yellow bed sheet, and we went to Matt's house and we put white glue on it, and then we let it dry, and we labeled the different spunks. So the zebra spunk had stripes in it. And then the rest was and there was a big blotch, and there was elephant spunk, because presumably the elephant would have way more spunk. It was so obviously, remember we were in our tent, and the teachers didn't know, because it was just rolled up, like, that's our flag, like, it's a very soft flag, where, like, parts of it are soft, parts of it are very hard. And we unrolled it and just hung it from our tent, and when the teachers came around the campsites, and they were very proud of, like, everyone's flags, their tent, and then I just remember they're like, what the hell's going on over here? And the lead teacher was very like hardcore Mormon, and I don't know the difference between like regular Mormon and hardcore Mormon, but it sounds like a band, but he was like hardcore Mormon. I just remember us being in our tent, and he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, like he saw that we had a sheet with just presumably like jizz glue on it. So that's basically, we got busted for that right away. So the other part was we had to have a team uniform. So again, Squirrels, everyone made like t-shirts and stuff. We're already not on the beaten path. We're doing sheets with glue on it. Our uniform is going to be mustaches. This is bad. Now this is as a 23-year-old. This is how sad my mustache is after 20 days. Back when I was like 17, it was I barely had my first pube at this point. I don't know why I thought I would be able to grow a mustache. So we all embarked on our mustache journey. We started growing these mustaches. And like literally at this point, in retrospect, this has taken me all of November, so 20 days to get to this point of this mustache. It was like day 8 of our mustaches. And we're like, these aren't dark enough. We're not even like, girls aren't even giving us attention yet for these badass lip warmers. Let's go. So my buddy Matt, this is the first time I've heard of just fermenting your face, which is like very mainstream now, like he doesn't understand. Like this is a different time period, okay? Just fermenting, very mainstream now. Back in 2009, very underground. Not a lot of people were using it. So he came to school one day and his mustache was amazing. He was getting like all kinds of, he was getting like high fives for his mustache. We're like, what happened? He's like, I just fermented my mustache. And he's like, we're all doing it. We're like, okay, like I trust you, Matt. Like we'll go just ferment our mustache. It looks amazing. So we go to Matt's house. Keep in mind, I'm putting mustache in many quotes. We didn't have a mustache. Matt had a mustache to dye. I had a fuzzy upper lip. Same with my buddy Doug. So we go to his house, and his mustache looks amazing. Like I'm trusting this kid. And looking back, it's partly my fault for what happened because Matt was like a complete idiot. I don't know why I trusted him. Like this guy was no way he passed math or even gym. And I don't know if you've used like Just for Men, but it's very like, it's not just like fun hairspray or like dye, right? Where you just spray it and it's like, this stuff is like, there's multiple ingredients and you have to make your own little cauldron and like mix it up. You know, according to the instructions is very important, and it's like potent. Like this is industrial. Like you could paint a ship with this stuff. It's intense. So Matt, again, I wholeheartedly trust this guy. He starts mixing up the Just for Men. I assume that he's read the instructions. His mustache looks great, and he's just dumping. There's like one tube here, just mixes it up. what seemed like very arbitrary ratios, which already concerned me because I'm like pretty sure it's like a 2-to-1, but he just whatever. He just sprays these in. He starts mixing it up and it smells very potent. He's like, all right, it's ready to go. Start putting it on your face. Nothing from this point on was exact with him. I think he was read the instruction for him. For me and my friend Doug, he's like, just start putting as much on as you think. Now, Just for Men is hair dye. It's meant to go on hair. Like I said, we don't have any hair, so it's basically just going on my skin. So I'm putting this stuff on. It already smells like danger to me. All of my fight or flight, like my intuition and natural, was like, get out of this house and wipe up your face right now. I was like, I gotta look sweet for Jim, so let's do this thing. So he literally mixes it up. He gets us to spread it on our face, and then he's like very little interest. Like, we're only in his house for 15 minutes. I thought he could be attentive and help us through this process. He goes off and starts having like a snack of like bananas and nuts and stuff. Like, he's just gone, and I think almost he forgot that we were even doing it, to be honest. Me and Doug are just sitting in his basement with this industrial stuff on his face. It already smells horrible, and it smelled originally like industrial glue and stuff, but now I can also smell my flesh melting into it, and it started to hurt too, but I'm like, that's probably it kicking in, like that's probably what it feels like when your hair changes color. There's probably a bit of pain. That makes a lot of sense to me. I've never done it before. So we keep calling to Matt, and we're like, Matt, like, how long are we supposed to have this stuff on? It's been like 15 minutes at this point we've had this on. And he goes, 5 more minutes. It's 5 more minutes later. Matt, how much are we supposed to like wipe this off? I don't know the deal. And he's like, you know what? Couple more minutes. So we leave the stuff on for like literally like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. In retrospect, I read the label. It's literally 3 to 5 minutes. You're supposed to have this stuff on hair. This was on my skin for 40 minutes. So then Matt's like, all right, guys, I think it's been on long enough, which is the understatement of the year. Like, I can taste it. That's how like deep into my blood system this is gone. Now, you're also supposed to, like, I don't think if you really dye your mustache, there shouldn't be a lot of removal for Just for Men. Like, it should pretty much just dye and then you have a shower, whatever. But because this was on skin, that hands us one washcloth, now I think of it, for both of us. Which is like, how poverty is this situation that we only have one washcloth? And it's the most coarse, it's almost a wire brush. And he's like, start wiping it off. This stuff is in my pores. Like, it's a tattoo at this point. So I start wiping. Nothing is coming off. I have a black lip. Like, honestly. All this is black. Nothing's coming off. And so I'm a little bit alarmed at this point. Because all those bad feelings that I had starting to come true. And I should have listened to my own consciousness there. So this starts, nothing's coming off. And Matt goes, he's totally cool about the whole thing. He's like, yeah, sometimes it doesn't come off right away. You have to really scrub it. So now I'm scrubbing the point. It hurts my face even more. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, what kind of product would sell so much if part of the process is you have to scrub it off afterwards? So I keep scrubbing. It's still not coming off. And he's like, just scrub harder. Like, I'm starting to realize at this point, Matt's an idiot. He doesn't care. His mustache was a miracle that it even worked out quite quickly. So me and Doug, again, we only have one washcloth. So I scrub for a bit, nothing comes off. And he scrubs for a bit, nothing comes off. Scrub for a bit to the point a little bit of black is coming off, red starts coming off. Because the blood is coming off of our face because what we've done is we've, 1, chemical burned our face in the Just for Men. 2, to make it better, we've rubbed all of that in. The Just for Men did eventually start coming off, which is nice, because the skin was coming off. So we were literally removing the skin on our upper lip. Matt is again gone eating presumably more bananas and nuts, whatever he's doing in his house, playing Legos. I don't know what this guy's doing. I don't know why he couldn't be there. He just pieced after he made his mystery mixture of Just for Men. So me and Doug finally clue in. We're like, I think we're getting off as much as we can, and this really hurts. I can't scrub my face anymore. Now he comes downstairs, and we're like, is this what it's supposed to look like? And he's like, that's not what it's supposed to look like. We're like, we followed your instructions. He's like, yeah, you ruined your face. I try to leave Matt's house, and I'm like, all I want to do is just go home, go to sleep, and I hope this was a dream, and I hope I just wake up healed. On the way out, his parents are just like, what were you guys doing? I was like, listening to your kid is what I was doing. They're like, that's not good. They're like, I don't know if this has happened before. Like, you didn't let him dye your mustache, did you? So we leave his house, and again, like, I don't even want to look at it. My face is burnt. It's burnt, but it's also black on the outside of the burn. It looks like a coloring book because there's like an outline to my burn, like a murder scene on my dumb face. Nothing is good. And to add insult to injury, no dyeing in my actual mustache. Blonde mustache on top of my dumb chemical burn. So I get home and I'm like, I hope my roommates, aka parents, are just in the basement because I don't want them to see. I've done a lot of stupid stuff and I've had to fess up. I can't go in front of my parents and show them this and tell them what happened. So I go to bed, I'm like, let's just wake up and I hope it's fine. It'll be fine in the morning. Like, skin heals really quick. I get up in the morning, it's 10 times worse because now there's scabs. What did you think was going to happen? Scabs? I thought this was going to be a happy ending to this story? Yeah, I woke up and I looked better. No, there was scabs and there was hairs growing from the perimeter of the burn. And I was like, oh my. I showed my mom, and it was one of those situations where your mom doesn't have words, she just starts crying at how stupid you are. I was so traumatized. I tried to eat cereal, but everything hurt because everything touched my burn. And I called Doug, and our conversation was, I didn't even have to say anything. I go, hey, and he's like, me too. And we hung up. It's just that bad. And I don't know what to do. So I'm like, I'm not going to look in the mirror. I'm like, I'll go to school. Maybe it's not as noticeable as I think. I'm trying to keep it optimistic. So I go to school. I get out of my car. I don't walk 4 feet. A kid that never talks to me turns around and just goes, Jesus Christ. I'm like, this is going to be the longest day ever. There's no way to just walk into school like this. Like, I could only scratch my nose for so much and I had to go in. So I get into school. First people that see me are the gym teachers, and we told them we were going to dye our mustaches, so right away they know what happened. And one of the gym teachers, as soon as I get in, he's like, oh my God, like everyone is like going to puke. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, come with me. Like, he pulls me aside. I'm like, maybe this guy's some kind of ointment or something. He's going to help me out. This guy's dealt with mustache burns before. He's an expert. He has women's training. He's a gym teacher. He knows about these chemicals. He pulls me aside. I think he's really concerned. He's like, come with me. And we take a right, and we walk into his classroom. Who's writing a test. He goes, pause the test. I'm just going to do a PSA, and I want to show you kids why you never dye a non-existent mustache. And I'm in the hallway, and I'm like, I might bail on this gig right now. He's like, Todd, please come in. And I have to go in. Keep in mind, my whole idea of going to school is maybe it's not as bad, maybe no one will notice. Now, I was the circus doing a PSA for kids. I'm a scared straight program for mustaches. And I go in, and it's my worst nightmare. Like, every kid's just like, oh, no. Like it was like, they didn't want it to, like, drip on their papers and stuff. And so right away, I do this PSA as, like, a tribute to them. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not going to any more classes after that. Clearly, it's quite noticeable at this point. So I'm like, I'm going to the doctor right now. I can't deal with this. So I go to the walk-in clinic, and I wait in line. And even people who are in the clinic, everyone has something wrong. They're most concerned about me. So most people's is internal or covered by clothes, and I'm just there waiting in line. And I think they could still smell the burn. And I'm like waiting in line, and I get to the front, and the girl does not, like, she's not into her job, and she just admin, she's checking me in, and you know, she looks, and then she had to do like a double take like that. And she never pause on a keyboard when they're checking you in, but she had the audacity to say, what are you here for? Like, I was like, it's a bit of a sore throat, I don't know. Also, gaping chemical burn on my face. I literally just went like this, and she went, So then I go sit in the clinic, in the waiting room, which is normally a place I like to pick up women. But in this case, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, thank God. I don't like touching the magazines, because I think that's the dirtiest thing you could ever have in a waiting room. Like, everyone's in there sick, they want you to touch a magazine they don't want to touch. But I had to do it like an old school guy reading the newspaper. I put it right up to my eyes like this. No one is going to assume that this kid was going, camping, and he tried to dye his mustache, and he burned himself. All they see is someone has herpes in the waiting room right now. And it's gross. Don't read that O magazine, because he got herpes all over it. So I'm sitting there, trying to hide as much as possible. And finally I get called in, I go into the doctor's office, And I'm like, finally, I'll just uncover my face because you're free from judgment in the doctor's office. Doctor comes in. He's equally as like, what the F did you do? It's just like, Jesus. And he goes, obviously, that's what you're here for. And he's like, what did you do? This isn't even my regular doctor who I have rapport built up with, and I've done some stupid stuff, so he might be like, oh, okay, this is just another one in your file. This guy is a completely different doctor. So he's like, what? He's like, what'd you do? And I'm like, I just fermented my mustache. And like I said, this is just fermented very underground at this point. So I didn't even have the simplicity of him knowing what that is. And he's like, I could see. He's like, what is just for men? So I explained to him. I'm like, I tried to hair dye my mustache. And he's like, you're 17, you don't have a mustache. He's like, why are you trying to dye your mustache? I'm like, because I'm going camping. Like, none of it made sense. None of it made sense. So he's like, this is horrible. He prescribes me some, he kind of, without saying it, was like, you're kind of an idiot. He just gave me like this really expensive cream. Luckily, I was still under my dad's healthcare, so it was kind of, this is like $90 cream, got it for $8, so it was like kind of a profit in a weird way for my brother. It was really nice cream. So I just start putting that on. I go back to school, and I don't know if I thought the cream was going to heal it immediately. What I realize now is in the morning, I had a chemical burn and black stuff on my face, and now it was a shiny version of that. Walking in. This is 10 days before grad. Word had already spread to my grad date about the epic chemical burn, and I see her coming out. She's not happy. And she just says, let me see it. And I go, okay, let me see. She's just like, nice, Todd. Like, all you had to do was last 10 days without burning your face. Some nice grad photos. Lucky she was super cool about it. She's like, we're still go to grad together, but you have to like wear maybe a shawl or something, or switch religions and wear something. So I have this stupid burn on my face. And we have to keep putting cream on it. In class, I have to keep applying cream because the burn is so bad, it's like sucking the cream in to heal it. So it was the worst 2 days. Finally, we go camping, and it's in the dry air, so the burn is getting almost worse. And me and my buddy, every single night, have to leave our tent and go outside because it was too embarrassing to do in front of Matt and the other guy who's presumably dead at this point. We go outside. Like, the most effeminate thing we've ever had to do, we have to cream our faces every night. And Doug was so embarrassed, he didn't even go to school. He was just pumped. I went and got cream for both of us. So we had to cream our mustaches every night. And eventually it did heal, but I never will just ferment my face ever again. There's no happy story to that. Just that's the lesson I learned. Don't dye a non-existent mustache. That's the whole story. So thank you very much.